Hello everybody! This is of course the time which you've been waiting for. I do apologize for not getting these shows out quite as frequently as I used to, but never mind, I'm here and I'm here now. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Nick Dutch and I am a professional tarot reader. I also do life coaching here on the internet, and I've got links to my keen.com profile as well as my lifeperson.com profile in the information box, as well as a link to the life coaching website. And also, for those of you who are in the European Union, you can also catch me on kumar.eu. For those of you who are in the UK, you can catch me on kumar.co.uk. And for those of you in the USA, you can catch me on the Psychic Live Services website. My PIN number on those three sites is 2483, and I do both SMS as well as telephone tarot readings there. So there's lots of great ways to get in touch, but this show here, right now, this is the only place on the entire internet where I actually provide you with tarot readings for free. Alright, and the only way in which you can get a free tarot reading from me is not through leaving your request in the comments section. That is incredibly naughty, don't do it. You have to use the email address, which is also included in the information box down below. Okay, so use that email address, which is nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, and submit your first name, your date of birth, your inquiry. And yes, there are a few types of questions I won't do, but for the most part it'll appear there on my email account, and I'll just go through them one by one and I'll tackle them all, do them in the show, and everything's going to work out according to plan. Obviously we're approaching the end of November, we're nearly at December, and this year, unlike last year I think it was, I've managed to resist the possibility or the potential to, get my Christmas decorations up a little too early or preemptively. However, it is a bit of a gamble, as to whether I'm going to wait until like December proper, or I'm just going to wait until after this one particular video has been rendered before I race upstairs and scurry around in my loft area and pull out the tree and all the tinsel and the lights and other fun stuff that we play around with at this time of the year. So either way, never mind. Let's get straight on with the show and see what we can do. There may be a few other links down there in the information box you want to have a look at, so don't forget to do that. Remember, I'm not just a tarot reader, I also do life coaching, and I'm just an amazing guy. Speak to you in a minute. Hello, Carla wants to know what direction she's going in terms of her career and her relationships. Well, let's have a quick look. I've already been shuffling the cards very thoroughly, so I'm just giving a bit of an icing on the cake shuffle there, just to complete the entire effect. Let's clear my table, get rid of the last bit of dust in front of me. Don't want the cards to get too mucky, don't want my nice new pristine cards to get too, too scruffy there. Well, anyway, on your career side of things, it's what you need to head for rather than what the reading says is your direction per se. You need to find the role of stability. You need to find the root of stability and head for that. The main sensation we got as far as your career is concerned is the Four of Discs there, which has come through the way I'm looking at it from here. Okay, it's come through upright, which is essentially a very positive sign in many different ways. The imagery of this one particular card is that of a keep, which is the central part of a castle, which is like the last defense. Okay, it's very unlikely that an attacking force can break through your outer defenses and get through to the center of the keep itself. So this is like a place of stability, it's a place of refuge. And thinking about doing things which provides you with that sense of refuge is what you need to head for. Earth signs, coin signs, or disc signs, depending upon which language you're using, okay, within tarot, is always very descriptive of something of a material world nature. So the industry itself will be material world driven. Okay, the attitude you have to take is material world driven. The main message is that of protecting yourself and giving yourself stability. So you don't necessarily at this stage, at the moment, want to speculate too much or do too much in the way of more risky things. All right, so this is a time to look out for your central point of calm and stability. Doesn't mean to say you can't have fun. Now the Wheel of Fortune it's often associated with fun and with recreation anyway. It has the atmosphere or the mood associated with it, the whole energy of something like a fun fair. Alright, because it's got that, you know, round and round, turning, spiraling. Okay, it's got more of a mystical interpretation as far as like the wheel of life and so on and so forth. But essentially, when we're doing readings of this type, the energy moves to something more to do with fun and pleasure. So it's not a question of finding something that's really, really boring to do, but it is a question of finding something which is stable to do, okay? And another thing which is like re-echoing the message of stability is there, okay? The Eight of Coins, sometimes labeled as prudence. Now, when you're being prudent, you know, you're not spending too much, all right? Obviously, you're contacting me on the free tarot show, okay, here, nickdutchtarot@gmail.com, that's the email address, all right? So, obviously, you are being pretty prudent, financially speaking, but maybe there are other areas in which you can be cautious and diplomatic, all right? Use your wisdom as best as you can, because you actually want to deliberately create for yourself slower progress rather than something more rapid and more bam, you know what I mean, okay? So that's the direction you need to go for as far as your career is concerned. Let's have a quick look on the relationship side of things. Similar but different, okay? Because essentially the energy there is more to do with, well, I'll very quickly show you the cards. Very quickly. It'll be very good to you. Alright, there we go. You've been through a time of struggle and strife, and now you're moving to a time of using your nurturing energy to generate relationship stability and peace and tranquility between yourself and one another. So if you take the right kind of attitude, you're going to get some very good results. This is within 3 months from now. Alright, so changing your atmosphere to something in which you're providing nurturing is going to be a very good force for yourself. Okay, Sylvia, I'm sorry you've had such a bad year and things haven't quite been going according to plan. Well, let's have a quick look and see what the reading says for you today, okay? Alright, well the message here is rather different. Again, it's a 4-card reading, alright? But the very first card I pulled out, if you know tarot at all, you'll know that the star card is very important, especially if you've had a bad time and you're looking for things to improve, okay? The star card is like the message of when you wish upon a star. It's that moment of hoping and aspiring, trying to keep yourself focused. You said in your message, you know, no one can keep your soul down. That's basically because you've got things to look forward to. Now, maybe you don't necessarily recognize it straight away or right this very minute. But if my reading says that that's coming very soon for yourself, a moment when you start thinking, right, I'm on the right track now. I may not be there yet, but I'm on the right track. That's what you should be thinking about. You don't need to get your entire life problem sorted out today. Okay, you just don't need to do that. But you do need to make sure you're taking it one step at a time, one day at a time to get to your goals, okay? Right, what have we got after that? We got the Chariot. Now the Chariot card, do I really need to go into that too much? Okay, it's a martial sign. Martial means warfare, it means conflict, it means fighting, but it also means charging forwards to a particular goal. So you've got something which is going to give you hope. You've got something which is going to make you think, yes, I'm on the right path, finally, after all this time. Then you've got this message of, yeah, it's still a struggle. I've still got to get myself to where I've got to go, but, you know, you are going to get there without a shadow of a doubt. And most importantly, your longer-term future is looking happy, bright, and warm. All right? The Sun card speaks about, you know, almost like the love which the sun itself gives us. It nourishes us, it feeds our plants, it gives us good things, it helps nature to flourish, grow, it helps evolution, and as a result of that, it's the main driving force of everything on our planet, okay? So it's a big source of love and warmth and friendliness which is coming into your life. Obviously, we're approaching the dark of the winter. Why would you be getting solar signs? Because that's to do with your life, okay? It's a force in your life. You can have a summertime in the dead of the winter when it's minus 20 degrees outside and it's freezing, but you can still have the summertime of your life, all right? So this is slow progress, but just be focused. I'm pretty sure you've still got more of a fight on your hands, but on the other hand, the reading is saying that the end result is going to be good. So don't worry about things too much. Okay, Giovanni wants me to tell Giovanni what the cards want Giovanni to know. Okay, this is a pivotal time. This is a time of change and transformation, a sense of rebirth, going from one old thing to a new thing. All right, this is what we all look for. I mean, in paganism, all right, the Midwinter Festival is often seen as being a time of hope. Alright, because the sun is about to come back, you know, you're going to have a new year full of new crops and new sowing times and all the rest of that. So that's a message you may need to bring to yourself when you're going through this transformation, okay? It's almost like you're preparing. The land has to sleep in the winter so that you can then have a new planting time. Okay. This is interesting. Very interesting. You're going to be looking back on your past in order to work out what you can learn from it. It feels to me as if there's been some kind of misery or pain or difficulty there, but you're not going to let that hold you back or do you harm. You're going to use that like a learning resource of information and get from that wisdom. The adjustment card, balance and equilibrium. Where were you out of balance? I mean, with me, sometimes, this is just like me talking. I can analyze the way in which I've been feeling during one particular stressful day, and I can see that I've been through like peaks of hyperactivity or maybe even anger, and then I go into like slumps of not feeling very good about myself. Yes, even the great and glorious Nick Dutch can go through periods of not feeling good about himself, okay? But that's me when I'm moving from one extreme to another. But when I'm finally in the balance, okay, everything is calm, I can cope, you know, I've got like my life and the things I need to tackle in front of me, and I do it task by task, okay? That's when I'm in my balance. When I'm out of my balance, I can go angry or I can go depressive, you know, all that kind of stuff. So getting your balance right as a result of learning from your past. The earth sign in this particular reading is, it's a sign of knowledge. It's a sign of forms of reflection and reflectiveness upon forms of stability you may have had, and trying to work out what you were doing right at the time. What you were doing right. Okay? So you can get back to being in your balance. Okay? But there's also a bit of a sense of a childlike form of joy. Now, the Fool card, it's interesting you're talking about rebirth now, isn't it? And yet we get the Fool card, which is number 0 on the Major Arcana. It can sometimes speak about the moment before birth. Sometimes your childhood, okay? The moment before proper grown-up life, when you're within the affairs of men, so to speak. But the moment before you're there is what the reading's talking about. You've got something big and important coming your way, which will need all the maturity and all the balance you can muster up. What you were doing the previous year, okay, all of that stuff doesn't matter so much. You need to learn from it, yes, but you don't need it to dominate you, okay? Because you're about to hit the time of responsibility, and that's something you need to be aware of. It's looking good, but take that learning with you. Okay, Brandy, you didn't ask me a question, but I'll give you a reading anyway because we're coming up to Christmas time and I'm very generous. Just a short one, just to see what kind of message is coming through. Just a couple of quick cards, 3-card reading maybe. Okay, water, earth and pain. There's been pain going on with yourself, but it's because you've been going against the grain, you've been swimming against the tide. You need to work out the way things are and you need to adjust to that. I don't think you've been fitting in. Something about this reading suggests that you've been going against the grain. And I also feel there's certain individuals or influences you need to avoid to try and get the clarity that you need. Cards for you were the Prince of Cups, which talks about your own spiritual nature. It talks about the fluid nature of life, but also the seven of discs there, a very dark energy. That negativity can happen when you're clashing against the forces around you. Okay? Like rocks forcing against each other. You know, something's got to give. And you have had to do a different type of learning than the previous 2 readings, because it's learning from pain rather than learning from just doing things a little out of whack. But the pain is that I don't think that you have highlighted or isolated where your true spiritual nature lies in terms of the way in which you're living. Okay? Okay, and Kat, let's have a quick look and see what's coming through for you. You're particularly concerned about whether there's anyone you should be warned about. Complex time in your life, huh? Well, here we go. Let's have a quick look. So basically, we're looking out for significators, aren't we, with a question like this, for those of you who are learning tarot. When someone asks about, is there someone, okay, it's always significators, the court cards, primarily. Sometimes major arcanas, but usually the court cards. Okay, I'm feeling a male energy you don't fully understand properly, an individual who's not necessarily right for you, possibly someone who wants to try and do things a bit too quickly, and there's some issues of powerlessness associated with them. I will be cautious of this person. You don't have to avoid them, but you do have to control the situation. Right, the cards for you were the Devil card, which essentially speaks about a form of powerlessness, your own empathic nature coming through very strongly with the Empress, the Star card talking about your hopes and your feelings, but that's in conflict with this individual, because essentially their significator was the Knight of Swords. Now the sword signs in this particular case is to do with something quick, something rapid. This is a person who's very quick-witted, quick with their tongue, okay? You know, they know how to talk you into something, but you need to just try and hem them in a little more. They can be loving, they can be warm, but there's also something of the firebrand about them. When I say you should be cautious about them, I don't think that they're totally evil. I don't think that. I think this is someone who's gone through a fair quantity of stress, and just probably needs more love than you're capable of giving them as far as that one particular situation is concerned. So that's why you've got to be careful of them. Not because they're bad people, okay? Okay, Chantel wants to know whether Chantel will ever get married, and will it be to an old relationship connection type person, or would it be to someone new? Very interesting. Let's have a quick look and see what the Mystic Tarot is talking about. Obviously the tarot itself goes back centuries. Well, let's have a quick look. No, that was actually a bad shuffle. I'll do one more to try and make it right. There we go. That's a little better. Still, I've been very lazy recently. You know, I mean, obviously I do need a new tarot pack. You know, you guys know I've needed a new one for ages. Look how worn the Hierophant is, okay? Well, at least you know you're not getting the Hierophant card in your spread, because that's on the bottom. Let's have a quick look. Ooh, new beginnings, big time, big time, big time. Right. Overcoming defeats. Creating a feeling of mutual agreement between yourself and somebody else. But this is curious, because the sign relating to a new beginning, I'll quickly show you, okay? Quickly show you. Right, that's your new beginning right there, okay? Maintaining your inner strength. You haven't had good luck, so you're maybe feeling a bit down inside yourself, so maintain your inner strength and don't worry about that. Overturning defeat, getting enthusiastic, getting motivated and happy, okay? Then, bam! Building a connection between yourself and somebody else, that sense of mutual agreement, the feeling of getting on with somebody, and it's starting to move on okay, but it's slow progress leading to a feeling of, yes, I've actually done it. So your question was purely about marriage. Interpreting that whole progression purely in terms of, are you going to get married, I'd have to say yes, and I'd have to say that's a very, very positive reading. So it's looking like, yeah, as far as when's concerned, give it a couple of years, not too much longer, okay? But essentially the new beginning is there. So you may build a connection, it'll probably be a friendship rather than a full-blown thing straight away. And then bit by bit, you're going to get your confidence back, they're going to get their confidence back, and bam, you know, that moment of boom, 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 you know, joy is looking really sexy at that time. Ivan Catalan, you want to know what your future's looking like? Short question, here we go. Remember, you know, these little inquiries, I don't normally do them. I'd rather you actually ask me a question, to be honest, on this tarot show. Alright? Because sometimes, you know, like, a broad question like that can have many more sort of nuanced messages, okay? And therefore it's much better to have a proper conversation about them. That's why I've got the links down below, so you can internet chat me and you can call me and stuff. Right, there's a big time of celebration coming associated with the family. That's going to be quite good, quite fun. Something interesting is happening in that respect. I'm seeing, it feels like a celebration time. It looks like there's plenty of food provided, bit of, you know, something to refresh you, shall we say, alright? And a sense of a moment where you will feel a bit anxious because the understanding of a future in front of you is basically going to be a lot stronger. Now, taking that into account, you may be thinking like, alright, because responsibility can happen in lots of different ways. Sometimes it's enforced upon you, and it feels like a situation happens, there's a great celebration, everyone's happy. At the back of your mind you're thinking, what, how am I going to sort this out? What am I going to do that's going to be beneficial to everybody else as a result of this situation? That's the way it's feeling to myself. But you're a leader here, okay? You're a strong leader who's going to be able to achieve a lot. Cards for yourself was Ace of Discs, Queen of Cups, the Six of Swords. Alright, you've spoken about that before in the tarot show, you know what that means. This is the sign of celebration, it's the Ace of Cups, alright. Ace of Cups means celebration, it also means love and affection and a very singular relationship. So it could well be that this celebration is to do with yourself and one other that you're getting nice and close to. Alright, but you have to be the leader, and that will mean getting involved with people who don't fully understand the situation, and you're using your wisdom to direct things around in the right way, which can sometimes be hard. Okay? But it's doable. Okay, clear diamonds. You want me to do a relationship reading, basically, don't you? Alright, long distance relationship can be a bit tricky, but let's see what the reading says. It might work out positively. Who's to say? Alright, let's have a quick look. Right, 8-card relationship reading. We've done those before in the tarot show, haven't we now? Okay, you know how it works. 2 for you, 2 for your partner, 1 for the force between the two of you, defining the nature of the relationship. Then short-term, mid-term and long-term future with the further 3 cards. Alright, here we go. Okay, force between the two of you, nice and fiery. Well, nice and fiery. Can be, that's a bit of a, oxymoronic phrase, I think, as some people call it. Oxymoron, yeah, sort of self-contradictory words. It's fiery. It looks like there's anger going on. It looks like there's disagreement. It looks like you need to work on that, okay? There's passion, there's connection, there's connectivity, but there's also that feeling of, oh my God, what's really going on there? On their side of things, they're worried too, okay? Distance relationships can do that to people, but there's also strong signs of love and connection as well, okay? So, cup signs, good, alright. 5 of coins, not quite so good. The worry signs there, they are reversed, so that essentially means you've still got an option or potential here. On your side of things, you're the strength and you're the stability, you're the pleasure, you're the happiness, you're the excitement. Yours is the responsibility to connect, to build, to direct. Okay, that's what this relationship is really about. Short term, mid term, and long term. Long term, good. Mid term, change and transformation. Short term, still a bit conflicty. All right, so maybe the next 2 or 3 months, you got to work at it more. Air signs, sword signs, or air and fire signs connected in the sword, depending upon which system you're using, okay, can refer to conflict. The original meaning of the swords within the traditional tarot was that of warfare. So that, unfortunately, is your short-term future. It's not your mid-term future. There's change. It's growing, developing, organic change type thing, okay? And then you've got your long-term future, which is more, relaxed, tranquility, moving onwards, okay? Something you've always wanted to happen. Second time today, we've had the star card coming out. Something very lucky about today's reading, today's tarot show. Obviously, a bit of a blessing being sent out down the YouTube to anyone who's watching this, alright? Right, so an awful lot of interesting stuff potentially happening there for you. Okay, Catty, Caitlin, or whichever one you want to be called, don't know. Congratulations on discovering your own mediumship gift, okay? These strange experiences, they happen, alright? I've always been saying that solidly for years now on the internet. Some people don't believe in them, but they haven't experienced them now, have they? If I hadn't been to Australia, never seen a TV show about Australia, never read a book about Australia, I might even disbelieve Australia exists, if you know what I mean, alright? So, obviously, you've got something going there, start to give it a go. Now that is interesting. I just dropped 2 cards. I wonder what they could be. Let's have a quick look. Maybe there'll be significance to your reading. Let's have a look. This is good. This is good. You wanted some signs relating to success and achievement, especially being a medium. The first one we've got here is the Sun card. Already spoken about that being to do with warmth, haven't we? Alright? Warmth, love, connection. And the second one that came out was the Fool card, which speaks about an embryonic stage or something early or something childlike, from childhood to adulthood. You're still developing it. Maybe you might want to join a mediumship circle, alright, just to practice a bit more prior to doing something a little more, you know, just using it professionally maybe. But I believe you could be using it professionally, because like the Sun card doesn't just mean warmth now, does it? Come on, think, what else does it mean? What precious metal is connected to the Sun? Gold. It means you can make good money from this long term. That is long term, not by tomorrow morning 9 o'clock, okay? But mark my words, this will be a good revenue generator for you because you'll be good at it. Okay, Jennifer. Haunted in California. Haunted in California. Right, you want to see whether a relationship is going to develop. All I can do is tell you what I can see. So basically we're just gambling this all on one reading, aren't we? See what's coming through for you. Bear with me a second, please. Ooh. This is actually looking really rather interesting. Alright, the first card I'm going to give you today is the Moon. The Moon card speaks about something which is being revealed to you. It also speaks about something of a romantic nature which can be providing joy. Sure, there's a bit of a sense of interference, and I think that interference is to do with fears which are being given to you, possibly by other readers. Sometimes, you know, the people you talk to on the other end of the phone, they don't know the work all that well. They don't know people all that well. They don't understand the cards or the astrological signs all that well. They don't quite know what they're doing or playing at. And sometimes they say things which are in fact inappropriate. And they really upset me, you know. They really do. And I think you've got to stop listening to them. And you've got to start following your own path. Passion and direction is another message for you there, okay? And also, this is going to be interesting for you. Stability brought about through change. And I think the change is the change of your perceptions. You know, when you've been alone for a while or you've had a big breakup, you do go into a decline. It's like all of like the pleasant chemicals of your brain sort of like start to go down. You think, oh no, it's going to be like this forever. But then something small can happen. Maybe an email you receive, maybe a connection from someone you've spoken to years ago. Or maybe someone new trying to be friendly with you on a dating site, and then, hey presto, the hope is, you know, brought up again. Mark my words, something interesting is going to happen for you, and it feels like you'll really enjoy it. Hello Griselda, it's great of you to send me a message here today on the Wonderful Tarot Show. Glad you're enjoying the show so far, and thank you very much for asking how I'm doing. I'm very good indeed. I've just got over a bit of a bad cold. Think I might have another one developing. Hopefully no one close to me has brought that in. Maybe it was the cat. Maybe the cat's been meeting people who've got colds and has been trying to bring his own in here. Well, it's that time of year, isn't it? But don't worry, I've got tons of vitamin C, I'll be alright. Anyway, let's have a quick look and see when this relationship of yours is going to start developing. Oh, absolutely lovely, okay? First card I've got for you is the Lovers. Now, the Lovers card does speak about relationships, but it also speaks about a permanent, long-lasting relationship. Basically, that moment of responsibility when you move off with someone who's just right for you and you start settling down. Okay? That's very optimistic if we think about the bigger picture without a shadow of a doubt. Because that's hope for you, and that's hope within the next 6 months. So pay attention to the signs. There's no signs of familiarity in this reading, so essentially it's not someone you already know, but it looks like it's going to be good. Alright? Variety of communication. Be careful about what you bring to the relationship, because if you're still bringing some of the negativity of your past to the relationship, that could possibly be a little detrimental to you. So I wouldn't worry about that. You know, put your past behind you and try and see this as a brand new thing. Be yourself, but behave socially appropriately. Alright? Then you'll be alright. Hello, awesome. Let's have a quick look and see what your reading says for you today. Bear with me a second, please. Glad you like my book. Yep. It's one of the best ones I've done so far. There's more coming, so, you know, carry on searching out on Amazon for Nick Dutch and buy everything, basically, because I'm amazing. Just a bit of self-publicity there. Right, I know that was a bit cheeky of me, wasn't it? But it's very true, I am amazing. I am. Alright, let's have a quick look. Bear with me a second, please. This is definitely a time of great awakening. Now, you've spoken your message to me of a sense of mercurial and Saturnian energy. Saturnian energy means going through strife, but that's where you get your learning from. And from that, you build up a great quantity of wisdom, which you can then give to other people. The mercurial aspect refers to healing, communication, art, science and technology. So you've learnt a form of technology, possibly a technology of thinking, which other people seem to need at this time in history. Right? So there's, from that, I'd say there's something interesting there for you. Now, but what does my reading say? Right, let's just have a look at it bit by bit, shall we? Try and sort of bring about an analysis. Yet again, the star cards come out in this reading today. Alright, there's something interesting, I don't know. Pluto and Mercury are doing something upstairs, which basically means good things for people, alright? Then we got the cups, but the cup is upside down. So, the pleasure you will get from bringing forth this transformation will occur through the work itself. Alright? But that will be like hard graft. You'll be going against the grain deliberately because you've got to. There's one particular current you have to go against in a big way. This is not just changing little things, is it? It isn't. I'm hearing the word historical. Something you're going to say, do or write is going to change the world. Starting off little by little, but snowballing, okay? Your passion's there, very strong. Oh yeah, just think about those signs, alright? Fire, passion, drive, the curvature which fits in with the Saturnian energy you were talking about before, okay? But also water can quench fire, so your banner, it's almost like you do like a burn and coast form of work. You push yourself to the limit and you need to stop and you need to rest. Alright? Try and build a constant passage of work, okay? Build up a good routine and don't completely drain yourself. Look after your diet, nutrition, exercise and sleep. That's the 4 pillars of survival, okay? Think about it. Diet, nutrition, exercise and sleep. It'll be specific for you, but you still need to build it up. And the victory is there to help other people, okay? Alright, it's a compassionate, empathic thing you're doing for other people. They need to know. They need to know what you know. Okay, Jack, you want to know about possible future relationships. Alright, here we go, Jack. I'll call you Jack D, shall I? Right. Right. There's somebody who is currently involved with somebody else. They're about to have a big breakup and there's a sense of reaching out or communicating with you. This is someone who enjoys a bit of a party, okay? They like to dance. There's a sense of music and atmosphere about them. And a sense of, they like to be out and about, a bit frivolous, maybe not too good with saving money. You're much better at saving and responsibility than they are. But they will want to have a change of lifestyle, a change of life pace, and there's a feeling of something positive between them and yourself. Alright? So, yes, there's something on the horizon for you there. Not too far to go. March to May is the very outside time frame for you. Okay, Willeen. Willeen, you're dating a guy called James, and you want to make sure that James isn't playing any games. There we go. I'm a poet and I don't know it. Right, let's have a quick look. 8-card relationship reading. All I can do is tell you what I can see straight out. That's all I can do. And we'll take it from there bit by bit. Here we go. Okay, the signs here are very strong on the earth signs. In this particular case, building a level of familiarity, building a level of connection, and also a sense of healing. This is someone who needs your support in their life so that they can basically get to where you have been, which has brought you to your clarity and your guidance. I know you don't want to get hurt. I don't think he wants to get hurt either. Forces between the two of you will be slow progress. Yes, I feel he does have a physical interest, but I don't feel it's the wrong intentions, okay? Progression into the future is actually quite fiery, but also there's a feeling of freedom which is developing in this particular case. Yes, we got the Devil card, but the Devil card can sometimes even mean marriage. Alright? But that's still like a long way away, so don't worry about it. It's a question of building it up bit by bit to the point whereby you can actually be happy, alright? Communication quality is not looking too bad. I don't think he's playing games. I feel that you just need to make sure the familiarity is there and the consistency is there, and then I'm sure you'll be fine. Alright? And that will be the last tarot reading of today. Right, for anyone who hasn't had a tarot reading yet, or if you've had one from me on this YouTube channel and you'd love to have another one, please feel free. The email address is below, okay? It's nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. Alright, one more time, nickdutchtarot@gmail.com. And I'm looking forward to receiving your requests. Alright, give your first name, your date of birth, give me a question please. One of these sort of like, oh, can I have a reading from you? Full stop, end of email. That doesn't cheer me up all that much. So basically I want to have a little more, you know, give me a bit of basic background, because that helps me just to like connect right in and then do basically what I have to do. Now I've got to give you the legal disclaimer, because tarot readings, psychic readings, mediumship readings and all the rest of them, every other single form of psychic science or skill or art or whatever you want to call it these days, alright, is legally billed as an entertainment service for good common sense reasons. You are still, and always have been and always will be, the final key decision maker in your own life. Alright, and that's why this is sold as an entertainment service. Sure, it's an entertainment service with therapeutic benefits because you feel better after a reading, or you normally do, okay? So, you know, this is what I do. Links downstairs for the life coaching service and all about how to get to me, and I might even put one of my book links there as well, or two of them, or just give you the title so you can Amazon search for it or something like that. I'll work out when it gets there, because I've got to convert it, you know, render it, edit it and all that kind of fun stuff first and foremost prior to getting it uploaded and sorting out all my links. But I do hope you've enjoyed the show, and I look forward to doing the next one. Advent is just around the corner, starting this Sunday. So for those of you who are within that particular religious paradigm, have a wonderful Advent, and I will definitely look forward to seeing you soon, and I will probably squeeze in one or two more shows before Christmas comes, alright? Okay. So look after yourself, good fortune, God bless, don't let the bed bugs bite, and so on and so forth. Stay sane, stay wholesome, eat well, live, love, laugh, be happy. Yay!